Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Legend, where I was leaning pretty heavily toward just starting a new game, because I felt like we were pretty far behind, and then I made a gamble that only put us further behind, and my figuring, like I said at the end of the last episode, was that the best case scenario from here was a slow starve out. But even that idea was based on Red being willing to take one of the deals that Red was willing to take at the end of the last episode, and then we saved and reloaded, and as I've mentioned before, that kind of recalculates the AI's brain, and as you can see now, they wouldn't even be willing to accept a city in exchange for truce. It takes a couple to get there, so I think that has only redoubled, perhaps even retripled, my conviction that the best thing for us to do here is just to turn it around and start over from the beginning. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing in just a moment here, and I'll see you then. Okay, and we're back, and you might notice right away things look a little bit different, and that's because I did this time choose the Mezari instead of the Vaulters, just to see if I was right in my memory that they have a different starting hero, and it turns out that they do, and she's different in a very interesting way. So her combat stats are almost exactly the same. For some reason, it looks like Avara Lasmak has just 2 points of damage fewer than Petrov Judit does, but they're the same in every other way, and I can't imagine that's intended. It's also almost certainly not going to matter. They have all the same combat-related capacities. Where they differ is Avara Lasmak has Science Boost 2 instead of Science Efficiency 2, and I think that's a pretty big deal. Science Efficiency 2, not to put too fine a point on it, just kind of sucks. It's just like the only time that it's like a thing you would actually be looking for is in the quite late game when a city's got a very powerfully built up population. Science Boost can do some really interesting stuff for us in the early game. And one thing I think we should be keeping an eye on here as we're moving forward is that last game, we nearly hit Era 2 before our first Empire plan. This game, if we assigned Avara to the city, to governing the city for any amount of time, and we managed that a little bit more intentionally, I think we absolutely could, which would potentially give us access to the Empire plan that gives that big discount on the cost of buildings. Obviously, in order to take advantage of that, we would need 60 influence with one city. And, more with more. So even if we can get the science lined up, it's not necessarily the case that we'd be able to pay for the Empire plan. But, let's keep an eye on what we get from our early quest rewards and stuff. Sometimes you get a bit of influence from pacifications and stuff. It may turn out to be the case that we could push for that. Aside from that, I think everything about being Mezari should be the same as being a Vaulter. So let's just get right back into it here. This is interesting. So we have a cluster of anomalies, but it's kind of an oddly shaped area. Is this going to let out to the ocean? No, this is an inland lake. Okay. Where are we? Just sort of in the middle again. So, of the 3 anomalies, or the 4 anomalies we can see, only the Mycordia gives plus approval, and we don't actually get access to a lot of science tiles this way. Not sure what we want to do here. Let's search this since we're right next to it. Get ourselves some early dust, and then we definitely need to look around. It is a real shame that we started in the middle of a bunch of forest tiles again. Okay, so there is glass steel here. Why don't you just push further up that way? There's also gold. That's neat. My suspicion is we're basically just going to have to put down right here because of the forests. We're not going to have room to roam. Let's... So we could see further south if I could get somebody to walk through the ruins. This is a 1 movement tile. But the problem is I can't disconnect a unit from the army into a tile that the unit can't stand in. So in order for that to happen, we have to be comfortable moving everything that's still in the stack downward, which means it's not really useful for scouting for a place for the settler. So I think we're probably going to just pull the settler out and put down right here for the approval. I mean, it's a lot of food. It's a fair amount of science. It's not a lot of science tiles, but it's a fair amount of starting science. It's got that plus approval bonus, and then we can expand eastward. There's not a ton of room for the initial city to build out, which is a little awkward, but honestly, I think this is okay. And just to quickly check here, 13, 11, 12, 4 versus 11, 18, 6, 4, but with no approval. Yeah. 11, 18 is really good. Only having 6 science is kind of bad, though. I'm going to do it this way. But we don't necessarily want to settle just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk this whole army down this way. And then we're going to split off. Get just a little tiny bit of extra vision. Okay, so we're meeting lots of minor faction peoples. We have a heavy science region over here with some titanium in it. Probably pretty important for us. And since we didn't find any luxuries or anything, let's just go ahead and throw it down. I think this is fine. It's not exciting, but it's fine. Let's get that birth. And then I think it's... yeah, we're 1 to 19 turns until that first winter. I think we're language square into mill foundry here. And trying to look for an early opportunity to lay down the gold extractor. Okay, no Draken player this game. Don't know anything about the others. Yep, same deal as before. Pacify a minor faction and then assimilate them. Let's just have a look around. Okay, that's very cool. That's a really, really nice quest to get early for us. So what is this? This is Saratan, and we've got multiple villages in the region. All right, high hopes that they will be giving us a friendly assimilation quest here. Not going to go too far from you, because obviously we want to talk to you real bad. And then I guess you can... yeah, we'll separate from this village a little bit because the cliff is awkward. We'll just search some ruins down here. So do I just want to like hard rush the Founders Memorial, get that extra food and industry and stuff out now? I think I do. Yeah, let's... We were lucky on that dust. We can make up some of the dust from the extra dust production from the memorial, and yeah, getting that building finished as quickly as possible is definitely high value. Well, that's a player border. 5 early titanium. I mean, we should say howdy. Anything? I mean, I'm guessing they're Kapaku because they're settled in lava. And the AI settles fast, but they don't settle so fast. Like, that's still got to be the first city, right? Locate a Kazanji village in Oirenth and destroy it. Well... I mean, it's certainly doable. Yeah, that's a shame. And having gotten this quest now, I'm not allowed to talk to this village anymore. Well, let's do it and try not to lose our archer in the process. Honestly... okay. So, I want to start as far away from the Kazanji as possible. I mean, it could be here. And get all of that morale. It's not going to matter. So, let's see. You're going to end up there. We're not going to get close enough for it to matter. Yeah, and I am just going to back you off. Because the thing they're going to do is they're going to go marine hunting, right? For sure. Please tell me we popped in. Good, good, good. In the appropriate placements. Okay, so you're going to move up, and we're just going to, like, hard super focus this one. Now, remember, our militia do have shields. So it is possible... Or our archers do have shields. So it is entirely possible that we will... that we'll be able to withstand a little bit of melee combat, but I don't want to bet on it. Oof. It had to be Kazanji, right? It couldn't be something easy. And unfortunately, we can't use the militia to crowd out the positions of the Kazanji in the way that we could with other minor faction units, because they fly over us. So I think what I'm going to do is keep the Marine on the run here, just trying to like drag them around, because they're not going to give up on that. To be clear, the Marine is the only thing they care about. Okay, excellent news. You are just going to keep moving. 1, 2, 1, 2. No, you want to go to here. I do not think that our hero is in particular danger. Our hero has a level of defense sufficient to just kind of take it on the chin here. That Marine has 22. If it wants to go archer hunting on the hero, that's just fine with me. All right, so is this where it catches us no matter what? It goes 1, 2, I go 1, 2, yes. So at this point, I'm going to go to the city space and just take the hit. Prepare to take the hit on turn 6, because I don't think we can get away. Well, no, if I go here, he goes 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, we get it either way, so we may as well go get the morale bonus. And this way, we also get to shoot him this turn. Ugh, our hero doing 0 damage twice really hurts. All right, the good news is I'm fairly sure he can't one-shot the Marine. Yeah, we're all right. 0 3 times in a row. It took us 100% of 6 rounds to get that kill. That's very sad. And now we have to rebuild the damn village. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It's not my most firstest concern. I mean, it should be like this, right? And then, like I said, we're almost certainly going to need the mill foundry next. Like, I want that population point, but it's so much build. If I do this, it comes down to 5. No, it's the right thing to do. I just don't like it. All right, so we need to be very seriously considering this as a secondary settle, because of the fact that it's going to have at least 2 villages and the strategic resource we're missing. And my suspicion is we're not in a huge hurry to compete with Brown over it, because if they are in fact Kazanji, they're definitely going to prefer Therat as a secondary, right? So hopefully that all bears out and I don't end up looking like a fool here. Also, the battle uncovered some terrain for us, which was nice. Just come up here and get this ruin. What did we get? We got 80 dust and we will get 10 blood crystal. Pretty cool, actually. So down here, we're gonna... Oh, I didn't look at the legendary deeds. Am I willing to give you... Yeah, all right. Let's see what you want. Bring a hero to a different Kazanji village in the region. So we did just buy ourselves some influence. Oh, this is a triple village region. Maybe we want to cut Brown off. I don't know. We should look at the legendary deeds, though. Is this... Okay, this one is destroy 10 armies this time. Very difficult for a player to earn that. And this one is hold 30 units of a luxury to get 130 die, which is fine. Basically, neither one of those are going to execute a strong pull on the way that we play, I think. Which is sort of a shame. Obviously, you want the impactful ones to some degree. All right, Avara, keep exploring. This region is looking potentially valuable. Let's find the best spot in it for another city. If we're thinking about a fast settle, that pretty much takes the Era 2 Empire plan off the table, right? Because we'll never be able to afford the 120 influence that it would take to get that Empire plan over 2 cities. Oh, I thought I saw ruin sparkles here, but I think it was just, yeah, there's some like orange and gold pollen that comes off of the chromatic land. God, this game's really pretty. I still really like this this like tabletop wargame terrain aesthetic that they've got going on. Gosh, I prefer games that have an art style. Alright, so I may just be satisfying or pacifying villages for another player here. But also, you know, maybe it turns out to be worth it for us. We certainly get some XP out of it. Okay, so there is a third village in this region, which is great news. You get nothing out of that, which is not that news. That news is less great. Lava River. We do have to remember. Is it? No, it's not in here, right? It's a normal tech. I didn't even think about. Where are you? Is it this one? No, that's just exploited volcanic tiles. There's something that lets you take advantage of a lava river. Is it this? No, that's just a worm farm. Maybe I'm misremembering. I thought there was a tech or a pearl thing. I don't know. My brain, you know, sometimes it's probably conflating two things. I thought there was something that gave you benefits over lava river tiles that was rarely used, but could potentially matter in our current situation. But it appears that I was mistaken. All right, 30 more dust. Cool. So how are we doing on this thing? It is not purchasable yet, was really my concern. That's a shame. I would have liked to finish that right as we get the ability to start on the mill foundry. Yeah, Therat looks really good. It has 2 different glass steel deposits in it, and this is tough. We probably don't double fast expand onto Brown's Border, right? I mean, if we do so, it will certainly be viewed as an act of aggression. Let me think here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could just, but I'm not going to warp my hero over immediately. I definitely saw movement out of the corner of my eye. It is a Kapaku player, and they've chosen to expand in a different direction for their second city. Interesting. Well, that does take some of the heat off. Build a public library to get a tech you kind of don't want. You know, in some ways, a free technology is a free technology, and like that's just a thing that is broadly useful for advancement. In other ways, you only get to research so many techs per game, you know, and it just feels, especially in the first era where you're probably going to end up leaving a bunch of them intentionally, it just feels bad. All right. Do I want to... Yeah, I'm just going to reassign. Exploring the northern part of Parian is probably not, totally necessary. Let's just go ahead and do the reassign. Talk to the village, pacify them, get the rewards right now. Ooh, interesting. That's a Kazanji region. So there's 3 Kazanji villages here and 1 there. We're going to get to super assimilate the Kazanji if we want. I think that makes more sense than assimilating the Saratan for the bonus defense. Percentage defense boosts on a bunch of units who have extremely low base defense values. Doesn't really seem all that smart. Sewers then, yeah? If we're thinking about a pretty quick expansion into an early winter. And it doesn't make any sense to pop the blood crystals. Like, probably right before the next city goes down would be a sensible time to do that. Let's rush this point of population out, build this mill foundry as fast as we can, and then I think we have to start thinking about those potentially those settlers. Now, I have been expanding very aggressively so far this series, and maybe too aggressively. Colonize this region if you want the Magte on your side. You know, there are some nice things going on in this region. This is a very attractive settling location for us, right next to an earth spine for approval and a black earth tile to overwhelm the food loss that is usually attendant with settling in colder areas. Yeah, interesting. We have a lot of very attractive terrain. I think I care about Therat more than I care about Parian. Even though, because like we have sources of titanium in the other direction, and Therat, of course, has that wonderful like anomaly clustering behavior that you see in volcanic regions sometimes. Cutting a volcanic region off from the Kapaku, also probably high value. Yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense as a place to go next. I wonder if we're going to get an eclipse before this first winter. Probably not, right? It seems to be coming on very quickly. Okay, 5 more titanium is cool. All right, and it is not a single Magte village. Wow, we've been finding a lot of dust. It's very, very nice. I don't think that I want to pop a booster here. No, probably not, right? No, I think we probably want to save this for like building science buildings in the second era potentially. So hold on, I can get... Yeah, does that even change? It does, but you know, we'll have an extra body to work on industry next turn. We'll make up the difference. Okay, so... do we want to just go super hard into this and overflow as much as possible into a settler? We can probably be in position to have 40 influence for turn 20, which gives us the first tier empire plan. We'll assimilate the Kazanji as quickly as we can and have plus 20% influence for the rest of the game, which will matter slowly over time. And then the Kazanji are pretty good combat units, as we just saw. It is unfortunately the case that players don't take advantage of them, as well as the neutral village AI, because from a neutral village standpoint, all neutral units have the same cost. But for us, Kazanji are pretty expensive base unit designs. But they fly, they shoot stuff. I mean, yeah. I think that that'll be a good assimilate for us. So we are in fact going to just go power mode. Hopefully get that out around turn 12-ish. Hopefully with the extra industry from the mill foundry and everything. We shall see. Pardon me. My whole tract is just a problem. To pacify the Silix in Nequakik. Give them dust, then bring them glass steel. The only version of this that doesn't work for me. All right, well, you head over there, and I'm going to see if I can find some glass steel. I'm sure there are ruins around here somewhere. Yeah, what'd I tell you? Okay. So if we took them over, Nequakik's not actually a valuable region. Maybe I shouldn't have given them the dust, honestly. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought we were in one of the regions that had a glass steel deposit exposed, or a titanium rather. It's a quest. Go all the way down there, or all over there to, okay. The problem is I don't actually care about this quest reward. That is a wine deposit. That's interesting. So that's how we usually refer to a place where grapes are grown, as a wine deposit. Naturally occurring. And it's right up there on the surface. Can you believe it? So what is next? We're not going to have the money to hire a governor soon. We kind of already have a melee unit in theory with the Kazanji. I mean, we're going to want cultivation for sure. But it can wait. If there's something I think I would get more benefit out of in the near future, you know what? Let's get our alchemist furnaces going. Alright, it would be super cool if we could just find 5 glass steel in a ruin somewhere around here. Yeah, it's not an ideal start, is it? We are not getting any ruins this turn. How's Avara doing on... Okay, we're gonna level up real soon. I was gonna say, I feel like it's been a minute. Well, I guess you can just go this way then. We're not, sadly, not going to be able to turn in that quest right away. The game hitched up very significantly there, the way that it does when the lighting conditions are changing. And I was kind of hoping that the first winter was falling so that we could just like get through it and get it over with. Okay, that's a cool find. I think that we are probably ranging a little bit too far out at this point. Army led by a hero, search those unspoiled ruins. Okay. And we will find there some eyeless ones who have been lost to their tribe. Oh, that was foolish. If I had applied, whenever your max HP increases, your current HP increases proportionally, so you maintain the same proportion of your total. If I had applied that extra point of movement while I was here, we would have had like 1.3, and it would have let us enter an extra hex and search this turn. Small amount of foolishness on my part that's going to end up having, you know, some significant spatial cost. Well, I guess we can just go talk to you. What's your deal? Yota's village in Belsero. Destroy it for some dyes. I don't even know where Belsero is, which means it's out on this side. Did we already... Wait, which region? Oh, you're that... Yep, that village is the same... You're the same eyeless ones. Okay, let's pop you out, and it's here, right? Like, obviously, it's a little bit of a bummer that neither of these is a plus approval anomaly, but that's just a huge amount of industry. This gets us a little bit of science. I mean, it could be here. We get a lot more total resource points if it's here. I was thinking here because it allows us to build onto that. I would love to take advantage of the steel stalks, but they're in a really awkward spot here against the edge of the... Yeah, we would rather build into those, right? Start here, build that way. Well, let's start by doing this. No matter which of these many routes we are taking, this is the first step. And then... sewers just improve our output of everything. They'll even allow us to maintain fervency for a little while post settling of the new city, combined with the blood crystal. Okay. Oh, that is the darkening of a pre-eclipse turn. Well, let's separate then. You go back here. Do we... So that's an unspoiled ruin. That's a temple ruin. There could be stuff north. I think I'm going to spend the last point of movement to go here. Ah, it's a shame. It would have been really cool if that had been an as yet unexplored temple ruin. All right, we're going to search this. Get our pair of eyeless ones. We have to train them with our army and then level them up to level 2 and then take them back to the initial village for pacification. This one is a nightmare and it takes forever. We will probably not be bothering. We just got 2 extra military units. Fine by me. I probably shouldn't actually give you a standing move order because we're going to want to remain flexible for what do you call it? For confluxes. Is there a temple ruin around here? A lot of the ruins around here are the unspoiled kind. That's unspoiled. Yeah. There's some temple ruins way over there. Hard to imagine. So you, I guess, like, probably it's the case that the best thing this unit can do is just sort of like strike out into unknown territory and hope to find a new one. Okay. So, let's just do some comparisons here. 29-4-2, not bad. 25-12-4 with no approval. If we settle here, we get 25-6-8 with an easy expansion into another. Yeah, we build like here, and get another anomaly plus another 5 value tile, and then from there we can expand down this way and pick up this stuff. That might actually be the winner. Yeah, I think 25-6-8. Okay. So I guess, yeah, move here at the beginning of the turn. I'm going to settle it pretty quickly because I am concerned about Brown taking the territory. They are Kapaku. They are going to want volcanic areas. Yeah, let's just go ahead and commit it. Not right away because we do want to pop a booster first. While we can still afford to do that thing. Because that will allow us to remain fervent in the capital for 10 turns, and it'll help this city out a little bit. Got us right at 60. Okay. Yeah, we probably don't want to take people off of food here. We need the manual food growth. But there we go. That'll keep the Empire in a pretty good spot. Unfortunately, no cheap and easy confluxes in the area. But we did get 60 more dust. And I guess, yeah, let's just head over here and see what's what. An additional 50 dust. Why is it gotta be always all forests and cliff faces, you know? Why do things have to be difficult, I ask you? We're probably not in a huge hurry on the public library front. Like, I think we do have an interesting question now about whether the next research is mercenary market. Like, do I believe? I don't necessarily think I do. Okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe we do need public library. I figured, you know, we only picked up 6 extra science the way we laid down there, actually. Yeah, this makes sense. It makes sense that we still need more. Okay, it looks like we may not find very much of value up here. But we're gonna... So the question is, like, do I think I'm gonna get enough to buy a governor? Because if so, I should probably buy a governor. If I'm not, then what I should do is immediately spend money leveling or buying the sewer out in Therat. I think I'm going to hold out hope that we'll be able to afford a decent governor. And also hold out hope that there will be one, but we're going to get Empire Mint first to sort of solidify the financial situation. Yeah. Yes, I am comfortable with that. Boy. Decision-making in this game is stressful. Video games are hard. That's like the primary thing about them, I would say. Oh, did we formally meet Brown? Okay. They must have wandered into my territory a little bit. I was hoping to not formally meet them until after we claimed the territory, and that did work out beautifully. Okay, we might get lucky and get a double search there. Yeah, go this way. So that's the thing we're supposed to destroy. I'm not even going to try with this army. I don't believe in us. I mean, these ruins are coming through on the money. I think holding out for the hero is probably the right move. Please let the eclipse last at least one more turn. Okay. I am, in fact, going to just pop the hero over here. Get this double ruin search off. Oof, titanium and nothing else. Alright, we got our military science, which I think means that, yeah, mercenary market's going to be the tech that takes us out of Arrow 1. And we absolutely could have pushed through this if I had valued doing so. I'm not sure whether it was right to try to go for it. I think the fast settle made sense here. And the fast settle makes it just, like, it's just at that point not worth trying to save up for that Empire plan, because you are not going to get there. So I think actually I'm going to turn this army around, maybe? Well... No, we should forge onward. We might find another ruin yet. And indeed. So that's a swift one. That is a glow. Do I need to be... Okay, I can search that from here. Even more dust. It's pretty great. Okay. Oh, they're just eyeless ones. Do I think one of my Marines can take 2 eyeless ones? No, probably not. It's not to that degree, but it is definitely, not a big danger. Okay, so we're getting our extractors and stuff going. This is all very important. Because we want to have a stockpile of glass steel. Oh, that's a shame. The eclipse ended one turn before we were going to get another double ruin search off. Alright, let's see if we can meet green here. We don't necessarily, or sorry, if we can determine who green is. We don't necessarily have to meet them. But let's see if we can determine who they are. Okay, 30 more dust. I mean, I still think it's fair to say that eclipse was very kind to us. That is, what do you call it? Broken Lords. Architecture right there. Yep, and there's their city. And there is a ruin over there, but I think do I want to know them? They're far enough away that it's probably okay. Yeah, we'll go in and search the ruin next turn. I'm going to start wheeling some of these units back homeward. We are a little bit far gone right now. And it's going to be the case that these minor factions are going to be spawning. So at this point, I guess let's go ahead and get the mill foundry, and then we'll use that to establish the glass, steel, and stuff. And we'll probably insert the Empire Mint in there somewhere because we got to stabilize. And it might be time to start building. Some military units in Oirenth. Or well, we do also need to build the Empire Mint, obviously. Oh, and of course they have units right here. So we'll just try to be real cautious and respectful of that. Okay, that was their capital, but they do have a secondary unit. They settled northward first. 70 dust was a pretty good find. Love +1 vision on army. And I mean, I think we're just running home at this point. I don't think we want to tangle with green or anything. Plus, what if Brown decided to get aggressive? Okay. This has been drawn out. I kind of figured when we took Therat, I kind of figured we were handing them Parian because we'd already pacified it. So we'll just have to keep an eye on what they do over there, and yeah. Okay, so what do we want to build in the capital? We probably want to put like a turn into a marine. And I mean, it may as well be a marine with actual armor on and stuff, because, when we do the improvement to the actual tier 2 gear, this will give us less distance to make up. So yeah, start working on that, but what we're really after is, should we pop focus? Yeah, let's food focus for a second. We'll go back to industry, but the capital is going to get out-populationed by Therat. And that's a little silly. Okay, I think things are going in an okay direction here. We've done very well on titanium for having no sources of titanium. Okay, not a terrible time for a winter, honestly. Let's run away from the miners. Grab this. And we can seek to combine these units up into a single army here. Not an army I would necessarily want to test on the field, but certainly an army that we don't have to pay quite as much influence or quite as much dust per turn for, which is worth a lot. Okay, let's move the mint up to there, and then once we have the mints out, I think it is troops time, and we just try to build ourselves into some kind of fighting force. Oh, you know what? If I am only planning to take the tier 1 empire plan, and I believe that is the case, I should have done the math on the amount of influence we were producing and assimilated the Kazanji before now, because we absolutely can afford to do that. And it would have become the case that we were able to do that. Yeah. Okay. See, I think the plan right now is just to merge these two armies up and continue doing all this stuff. In 3 turns, hopefully we'll be able to hire a hero. Yes, hopefully. Let me just get up for a second without pausing the video on account of I'm a professional. Sorry, nobody else was home for a while there. And when nobody else is home, I like to leave the door to the recording room open because the dog gets lonely otherwise, and I don't want her to get lonely. But now that her people are around, we can isolate ourselves in the computer den of shame, as is my natural state. So, green's expanding in a direction that I don't care for. I would rather that was not happening. I think Underear is looking like maybe our next settle. We've sort of like gotten Aquakic cradled here safely. Not that I'm in a big hurry to grab it. And that is fungal. Blue is my Kara. And they're not very far off. All right, well, that's a bummer. So we did that and got even more titanium. Build 2 new strategic resource extractors within your empire. Working on it. That will happen presently. Okay, so are we in a good position to attempt to actually execute the combat plan that I was talking about before? Maybe. Maybe. We have no idea what Brown's units look like, and there's definitely a it is definitely a shame that Brown is such a heavy infantry opponent, because obviously we would much prefer fighting somebody who's a little bit more a little bit weaker on defense and a little bit stronger on offense, and then we just kill them before they can put their offense into play. Okay, somebody built the museum. It is of some interest. Okay, hey, big surprise. It was the Mycera. It was the single city faction. Who would have thought? Alright, so 3 turns until we have the next step of our empire plan done. Yeah, things are going. Oh, now that we're all Empire... Oh, sorry, we're not Era 2 until this finishes. Okay, back across the border into my own lands, and what does a hero cost in this day and age? Well, it turns out just a little bit too much. Longfangs, Longfangs does have... Longfangs would be a mighty good governor for our lava city. Yeah, I don't think we can turn that down. Yeah, making each of these into +7 per, and then leveling up to earn just big flat food bonuses and stuff, and then a reduction in the cost of troops. Like, a Necrophage hero actually does very, very good work for Vaulters. Unfortunately, now we have to pay him, and so we are negative again. Let's go ahead and grab this first. And then we may come back and do some other things. We'll see. Cultivation would probably be a good idea next. But I want our troops to be able to be better equipped. obviously. Although, you know, maybe we don't need this. Because we're not going to have any cavalry units this time, and we're fighting over pretty short distances. Maybe we could do without the bonus movement and just rely on our heroes' bonus movement. I mean, I like having both, of course. It is nice to have your main army have 8 movement. But maybe we'll try it like this. And then the demons, let's throw on the best stuff for them. Probably claws over axes, considering that we're going to be fighting Kazanji. So yeah, you can see what I'm talking about here. Marine base cost 204, demon base cost 354. Almost twice as much. The combat stats are great. There's no two ways about that, but you're paying for them. Oh wow. That was very short. I'd like to make sure I am the one who gets these pearls. Somebody got the megapole. Was that also blue? No, that was pink, who we know nothing about. About whom? We know nothing. 7 turns. 7 turns. I mean, get it done, but ouch. Yeah, I think it's necessary. So the question is, do we at this point want to... I mean, I probably want to maintain that 1-turn birth and then like leave enough bodies over here to make it so we're not losing population, but put both the cities into build units mode so that we can build some units. And unfortunately, there goes any hope of future fervency. So I was planning to equip with the glass steel, but now it's going to be a super long time. Like, I was hoping that we would be able to do a little bit of holy resource mining during the winter, you know? If we pop 15 titanium right now to make titanium the holy resource, we can equip a very limited number of units with the holy resource. Whereas if we went after the initiative, or if we went after the glass steel instead, then it takes a lot longer for us to be able to equip an army, but we can equip an army of a much larger size, a potentially scaling size. But maybe this is the right move, since we got so much titanium from our rewards. What are we getting when we finish this? Oh, right, we just get that that piece of equipment. That seems to be useless. Do we see another luxury anywhere? There's gold over there. Wait, how's my gold supply doing? 7? Okay. Because it would be nice to get augmented extractors, but the land around us is actually quite devoid of luxuries. And if I'm going to fire this booster, I may as well do it now, right? Yeah, I guess let's do it. We may end up changing some things later. And our need for dust is only going to get greater as we build more troops. Was that a wild... Oh no, sorry, that's a quest-related Kazanji. Right. Don't you do it. They done sieged my city. Alright. Well, we'll have to deal with that. Fortunately, we can get over there next turn. Wow, eclipse time already. Time is really moving quickly. Okay, somebody finally got visionary leader. Honestly, pretty slow. We don't need to manual this. All right. I mean, I guess the good news is that's XP for both of our heroes. So hooray. All right. So I just want to leave enough people on food that we're not starving. Okay. So this gives me, in 5 turns, it gives me an army of Avara plus two daemons with whatever else just showing up as backup. Unfortunately, we actually do have to assign some people to... Okay, probably it can't be here. How many people can I assign over while maintaining that build speed? Okay, we're going to do it like this. All right, we're going to change some things up here. Let's go get the movement conflux first. And then we will head for this. God. A ton of minor faction units showing up from all directions to siege your cities. It's like really annoying. That means we basically don't get to take advantage of this eclipse at all. We probably won't get any ruins, any temple ruin searches done. My hope is that this will draw you off. I don't want to have to walk all the way up there. They're going to make me walk all the way up there. Yep, they sure are. At least we'll probably get attacked. No, are you really gonna they're gonna make me spend my action point? It probably doesn't matter. We probably don't have another use for it. Okay, we did it. We got some winter shelters. Now we gotta build a winter shelter. Unfortunately, that's probably not a thing we want to do in a real hurry. So that's a temple ruin. We can get to that next turn. I guess that's the play. It's the best we can hope for. Then I still need to do retrofits, and like we need to afford new gear. Okay. Didn't bother to do that. Certainly the case. Yeah, this is how we're going to afford our retrofits, so I really need this to work out. Do we get anything from turning in? Nope. No reward at all. How are those units doing? They're actually pretty close. They're real close. I was just looking because we're going to be near the village again, but it turns out it is worth actually nothing to go turn that in. We don't care at all. All right, so let's generate some dust so that we can do some retrofitting. Fakir has spawned, but probably not in a position where I can do anything about it. Oh, sure, science. Probably, right? It's a little awkward because it's going to increase the cost of our military, but also I do actually have units. Oh, hey, red. Okay, well, hopefully red gives green something to think about while we are busy doing other stuff down here. Somebody got Wealth Harvester. Okay, 60 more dust is very cool and welcome. Probably not running all the way out there for 2 pearls. Yeah, we can go for this. This isn't too far. This was, their quest was settle the region, which we may. 2 ruins in Tuldraj, way south. We're probably not participating in that quest, is my feeling. Can I get one more ruin and then head home? Looks like they are, in fact, going to allow it. Don't you do it. Don't you search it before me. I got it. I got it. We got it. Ooh, that was a good one, too. Longfangs gains 8 food for the city. Huzzah. And then we, like I said, get a move on. Alright, that's enough pearls to build an altar of Auriga. Good, good, good news. So let's go altar to here. That is a 10 industry altar. And if the eclipse lasts one more turn, we get a turn of running home. Which kind is that? That's the cube. I'm debating. I think I'm going to have this. Well, I guess what I actually ought to do is move my units to Therat because there is a governor there. But like, Parian is where we're thinking of, is where we're going to attack, right? So yeah, you should get out and move to the right spot. Wait, demons have 6 base move? They sure do. Huh. I guess like they have the slow trait, which lowers their battle movement, so they don't move in combat like a 6 move unit. And I guess that's where I got. I thought they were base 4. Well, whatever. So if we do this, and we do this, we're only going to be able to retrofit 4 total units. With that, with the holy resource. But I think it's the right move. Oh yes, and Therat should build something. What Therat should build is a burrow. What Therat should build is probably a settler, actually. How many people do I need on this to keep it at 2? Okay, all but one of them. Like, we should go ahead and get Onderir before it becomes an issue, before it becomes contested in any way. Do I want to move up and grab Belcero first, thus locking green out of this part of the landmass entirely? The problem with that is that Belcero doesn't actually have glass steel, or titanium. It has some glass steel. It doesn't have a luxury. Like, it's a, and it doesn't even have good anomaly placement. Like, it's a low value region that we'd be picking up entirely for long-term strategic purposes, which is not horrible. I certainly wouldn't say that that's wrong to do. That is a border. Oh wait, so this is not the blue. This is like the lavender. It looks kind of bluey, doesn't it? All right, so let's go ahead and retrofit this army, and we'll retrofit you as well. That leaves us with 9. I'm just gonna throw you in the garrison for the moment. I think I want to retrofit you as well, which will leave us with... Nope, Just the one. Please stop reselect. I'm just trying to see the tooltip here. Trying to make sure. Okay, because that does leave us with enough to give you a crossbow. I don't know why it keeps hitching and then reselecting the whole garrison. That's very odd. Okay. That's an army. And next turn I'll be able to... So we'll swap out one of the eyeless ones for these 3 units. And then I'm going to change the unit designs back because we can no longer afford to build those good items anymore. In fact, we're going to change stuff to glass steel because that's going to become the holy resource, you know, later. After we use these units to do a bunch of fighting. But we just weren't in a good position to make that happen. Unfortunately, because these are not actually my units, I don't get to rebuild them. I don't get to set up designs for them. Do we need everybody on this to get the birth next turn? Because I really do need dust. Okay, only almost everyone. And I guess this is maybe a good place to call it for the day. I'm realizing that we're way past the hour, and we're about to get into a significant thing that I'm not going to want to pause in the middle of. So why don't we just go ahead and call it here for right now? That is going to be it for us for today, and thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, tomorrow, I swear this time, we are going to be launching our meritocratic promotion plus tier 2 weapons timing push, maybe a little bit later on turn 33 than I would have hoped, but I think it should still be pretty effective. And we're going to get 1 or maybe even, fingers crossed, maybe even 2 cities and totally not lose the game. That's definitely how this is going to go. And we'll see you then.